Welcome, everybody. My name's Via Williams. I'm with the Ben Kinney Companies, and we do these Wednesday webinars every Wednesday from noon to 1:30. They have grown to be one of the highlights of my week. I've just loved them simply because we've had so many incredible guests on. So every single Wednesday, 12 to 1:30. Hattie, I don't know if you can put the link for next Wednesday so they can register. The other thing I wanted to point out is any resources from today, including scripts from the script off. Yes, it is our pleasure to transcribe those scripts for you, and we are going to send them to you. So we're going to send those to the email that you registered on. So hopefully all of you who have been joining us the last few months got these scripts from the last few script offs. They've been amazing. For all of you who have been joining us as well, you know that I have been tracking China and King County, Washington. And the reason I've been tracking those two markets is that the early in markets are typically the first out, first in, first out. I was hoping to have some China data from April by today. It's the 6th of the month. As it happens, it's a little early and I don't have any. So next Wednesday, I'm going to be going over what we found out in April from China. I'm like refreshing my browser to get that data, and it's just not accumulated yet. But what I wanted to do is spend a few minutes with you today going through what I've been doing with all of our offices. So I help to lead 8 of our real estate offices here in Western Washington in the Seattle area. And what I've been doing is I have been doing presentations to each of our offices so that they are equipped to talk to their clients about what their clients are asking them about. You know, our clients are asking us a lot of questions. One of the big questions is this going to be like 2008? Are you guys getting that? I'm getting it a lot. You know, is this going to be like 2008? Should we brace ourselves? Both buyers and sellers asking me. And it's interesting because I have a lot of agents asking me that too. So I'm going to briefly go over some amazing data that shows that this is nothing like 2008. But I have a presentation where I'm going through the top 5 things our clients are asking us. And I'm going to be, since I'm doing it in all of our offices, the next one I'm doing it in our Tacoma office. It's all on Zoom. Wednesday at 11 a.m., next Tuesday at 11 a.m. Pacific time. If you are interested in joining in on that meeting on Zoom, go ahead and put your name on the chat. Hattie will capture that and we can invite you to that. It's a really great way for you to have I like a lot of you, as many of you as possible, to consider starting to do some lunch and learns for your database, right? Consider doing some client events where you're going over the economy, you're going over the real estate market, and you're becoming the expert in their eyes. You know, they have their financial advisors, they have their wealth advisors, and this way you're considered the real estate advisor. So this presentation that I'm doing is really for you to model so that you can in turn do it for your database and your client. So I'm going to do the whole thing Tuesday. I'm doing it for the next 2 weeks in all of our offices, but briefly I wanted to go over the portion of that shows why this is nothing like 2008. And the resounding answer to this question is no, it is not going to be like 2008. We talk a lot about 3 letters, a V, a U, and an L. An L we don't even really talk about. An L means it spikes down and it stays down, and we're not really there. But a U is what recovery looks like during a recession, and that's what it looked like in 2008 and during a lot of our historical periods where it plunged down and it stayed down, then it came up. Almost every disaster that is an external event, the SARS incident in Hong Kong, 9/11 are 2 really good examples. It has been a V-shaped recovery where it comes down and then it comes up. Typically, I see a V-shaped recovery is shaped like a check mark, by the way. So it's a little slower to go up. So the reason this isn't going to be like 2008, guys, is it's not going to be a U, it's going to be a V, we really think. We hope. You never quite know, right? 9/11 is really a good litmus test. It's exactly what it does. And for those of you who were with us a few weeks ago, we did a case study on the SARS incident in Hong Kong. That's exactly what it did. It was a V there too. I thought this was a phenomenal slide. We all experienced last month having that pit in our stomachs when we saw the stock market plunge. Don't pretend you didn't. We all did. And by the way, if it's freaking you out to see it now, it improved and it's looking good right now. But if it freaks you out, just stop watching that news. Because look, you guys, look what home price appreciation did right here. Look what home price appreciation did while this was happening down here. That is really, really cool. A lot of the times what happens on Wall Street is not the same as what's happening on your street. And so it's really important to know there's not always a correlation between the stock market plunging and home appreciation. The other thing I thought was really interesting is this on the left. This is a lead up to the last crash. Remember the big housing bubble in 2000, depends on your area, 6, 7, 8. This is the lead up to the current crisis. Way healthier, way calmer, way more sustainable in the blue. Leading up to this, we can very much as a national aggregate, we can sustain these numbers. 12.5 and 11.4% as a national aggregate. I know some of your individual markets might look different. I am telling you guys right now, this is way more healthy, more sustainable. The setup to this is nothing like the 2008 recession. It's nothing like it. Steve's coming on in a minute to give us a mortgage update. But Steve, I thought this was a super interesting chart. The higher the line, the easier it is to get a loan. Well, look at this. Housing bubble time right there, right? Remember, it plunged down and it never really climbed up that much. So even now, it's not like we're giving people loans who can fog a mirror and aren't showing us any assets, right? We have a really healthy environment. I've seen some other data that's showed the average FICO score is just so high now, and it shows that the average FICO score is just going up. This is interesting. So that number, that 1.3 number, is actually King County, Washington. So King County, Washington, which is my market, is at 1.3 months of supply. On a national basis, we're at a 3-month supply. So even on a national basis, you guys, we are less than half of what we were with inventory in 2007. I mean, this is really nothing like 2007. I like this chart a lot too. Steve, did you know that over 50% of American homes have at least 50% equity? So, this really is gonna really almost make it impossible to have that kind of housing bust, that equity crisis that we had back then. It's really different setup here, right? So I thought I'd show you that. If you want to join us on Tuesday, it's fine, you're invited. I'm going to be doing the whole presentation at our Tacoma meeting. And really, I would like you guys to be in a place where you can kind of have that kind of discussion with your database, either one-on-one, or consider, your clients are all at home, you guys. Do a lunch and learn. Maybe what you do is you do a lunch and learn for their kids. Maybe you say, hey, we're going to have a real estate economic lunch break for your kids, and you simplify that, and you do be fun. I mean, like, let's get creative, and let's really think about filling our funnel. I know that me and most of us involved in housing and real estate, we all think there's going to be a pent-up demand that is going to just skyrocket the minute that your local shelter-in-place lifts. I don't know how long that'll last. What I know is we want to have everybody lined up so that we can make hay while the sun is shining. Really, really important. So that's my hope for you guys, that you're ready and prepared for that. And I also know that our April stats are going to start dropping to the media any day now. And I can tell you right now what they're going to say. They're going to say, in our market, they're going to say, King County real estate plunges 50% or plunges 35%. And what you guys need to be able to say is, wait a minute. No, it hasn't plunged. The reason it's plunged is because no listings came on the market. Actually, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, our inventory is at a 1-month supply, and we are gobbling up almost every single listing that comes on the market. So the reason that it's dropped 33% is because we don't have enough inventory to sell. We have more buyers than we have sellers in most of our markets, certainly in King County. So I want you guys to be able to kind of get ahead of that and spread the message and walk through to your clients what this really means, because they're all going to start reading it on the headlines. It's the 6th of the month. Depending on your local markets, any day now, your MLS will release its data and stats for April. And I just want you to be prepared. So that's why I'm doing this for our offices this week and next week. I'm giving them editable slides so that they can do these presentations to their clients. All right. Thank you guys. It means a lot to me that you let me talk a little bit at the beginning. I'm done. Now it's about our amazing people here. And Steve Snodgrass, let me spotlight you, my friend. Steve Snodgrass is the president of BKCO and Place Mortgage. And Steve, I am dying to hear an update from you. I think specifically, I'd love to hear what interest rates are doing and what the heck's happening with jumbo loans.
Okay. Thanks, Via. Hi, everybody. Yeah, rates are really still kind of drifting sideways. The 10 years at about 0.71. Our purchase rates are right in the 3.25 range with, no points, no lender fee, and $1,000 credit. The Fed is still buying mortgage-backed securities, scheduled to purchase a little over $6 billion today. So that is really keeping rates, relatively in check, relatively stable. They've been kind of drifting sideways for some time now. We've personally seen guidelines have actually eased up in a couple areas. For us personally, we at one point were saying, second homes instead of 10% down, now we're requiring 20% down. Well, now we've kind of gone back a little bit. So we can do 10% or 15% down on a second home. And that really is dependent upon reserves. And then the other piece would be cash out. At first it was, we're only going to do a max of 50,000 cash out for anybody across the board. We're not doing cash out for anybody that's self-employed. Those things have eased a little bit as well. So now there's a matrix depending on debt to income ratio and depending on credit score. We can go up as high as 200,000 cash out now if they have a high credit score and a low DTI.
So that's like a really big update that I wasn't aware of. That's actually huge.
Yeah, so they can take advantage, if they're in good shape and they have lots of equity, they can take advantage of that right now. The other piece would be jumbos. So jumbos, we're still doing them. We've tightened our guidelines a little bit. They're still in place. Maximum loan amount, $1 million. We need 30% down. We need a maximum debt to income ratio of 40% and primary residence only. So they're happening, but they've definitely been restricted a little bit. And I know there's a lot of lenders out there that are not doing them at all.
All right, that's awesome, Steve. We appreciate you. Anything else that we should know?
We're still very busy. We're still locking more purchases than refinances, which is not the case with a lot of lenders. So, I'm still seeing a lot of purchase business coming in. There's a lot of agents out there doing a lot of business, and with a low inventory, like you said, if somebody gets scared and doesn't want to buy, that buyer can easily be replaced right now. And so we're still very busy. We're probably about 65 to 70% purchase right now. And it's still a great time.
That's great. Thank you so much, Steve. I got a message that said I sounded far away and they couldn't hear Steve. So if you guys are having any audio trouble, let me know. Well, Steve, I appreciate you. I know you have to hop off. Thanks for joining us, and hopefully we'll see you next week.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Brady Sandel, how excited am I right now?
I'm excited to be in the room with you.
Were any of you guys here last week to hear the beginning of Brady's presentation? Was anyone here for that? Okay, good. So Brady, we are giving you a long chunk, and we are putting you first up because I got blown up after you spoke. My phone, my email, anyway, people, that weird inbox in Facebook you forget to check where people try to message you? Even that was blown up, Brady Sandel. So ladies and gentlemen, one of the most, I think, amazing teachers, speakers, real estate agents, and just, I think up and coming influencer in the entire country for real estate. This is Brady Sandel. He's in the Palm Springs market. So if you have any Palm Springs referrals, please consider Brady for that. And Brady, we were going through last week. We were going through what? It was 10 things that you felt were crucial to have an outstanding business.
Yeah, so I mean, first of all, everything I've learned has come from Nick Waldner, who's in the room right now. So shout out.
Exactly. Say all of us, Brady. I know.
I've taken Nick's certification program. So
you have to stick around for their
royalties on everything. So yeah, you too, Mike. Mike, it's all good. Thanks for having me back. Obviously, things in Palm Springs are warming up. We're just over 100 degrees. It's still a dry heat. When we get to 115, it becomes a little less dry. Frame of reference, Via, thank you so much for having me back. You know, we're 2 hours east of Los Angeles. Frame of reference, we're in a town of 48,000. We're trending about 7 new escrows every 7 days. That's not
in the entire town?
That's in the entire city. 7 single family homes have gone into contract every 7 days, right? So we're literally in lockdown mode. But I'm going to go over the 10 things. The first 5 were in what Gary talked about, survival mode, right? So we went into lockdown mode in March 19th. That means that the city, the county, the state said everybody's home. Real estate is not an essential business. You literally can't do anything face-to-face. You can't meet with clients. You can't show property. You can't do anything. So that was the first several weeks, and we went into survival mode. So I'm going to go over those 5 tips, 5 strategies, and this is in grassroots, right?
Okay.
And then I'll go into the second 5, which is more of the thrive, meaning that we went from non-essential to essential. We went from cutting expenses and fear to knowledge and confidence. So I'll go through those second 5. So a little bit of repeat, rinse and repeat, and some things brand new. Step number 1 under the survive. We played a game we called the 5x5 game. And for those who've heard it, you know, bear with me, I'll go through it quickly. But basically, you want to call 5 current customers. You want to call 5 past customers. You want to call 5 people in your sphere that you haven't had a relationship with before. You want to call 5 local agents, and you want to call 5 out-of-area agents. Now, here's why. The current clients, it's obvious, right? They want to hear from you. The past clients, obvious, they want to hear from you. Sphere, well, they'd like to hear from you, right? Hear about the co-op agents and the out-of-area agents. Most of the co-op agents are not like you. They're not like you in the room. They're not working. They're not looking at the MLS. They're not answering their phone. They're not leaving their house. They're in a place of survival, right? Maybe depression's kicked in.
Well, I mean, I thought was amazing last week. I've been thinking about it all week, Brady, is you said that all of your transactions, the agent on the other side, whether you were the buyer agent or the selling agent or the listing agent, the other agent disappeared, and they felt like this meant they couldn't work. Not just that they needed to stay home, but that they stopped answering their phones and they stopped working, and they essentially abandoned their transactions. And I found myself thinking about that all week, like what on earth would possess someone to do that?
Well, people respond to shock differently, right? It was a very sudden move. They had to shock, they had to grieve, go through the process. But when on March 31st, when I called every single co-op agent I had done a deal with the last quarter, only 2 of the entire number had heard from their broker manager. The rest were like, I don't know what to do. Wow. So not only we have to carry the weight of ourselves and the production of our team, but now we're carrying the weight of the co-op market as well, because they are the sales force that's going to sell your inventory. And by the way, they might be the listing team that's going to bring your listing for the buyer that you're working with. So it works both ways. That's step number 1. Step number 2, move through it with what we call the 4 C's. The first C for us is always care. It's our culture. It's who we are. We know this. We've heard this. You know, mind share leads to market share, right? But you go with care. You ask them questions. How are they doing? How are they feeling? How are they working? The second C is curiosity. Ask them, where are they? Are they in Palm Springs? Are they in Austin? Are they in Palm Springs? Are they in Bellevue? Like, where are they working? How are things going? We don't bring up real estate, but on that third C, it's going to show up. They're going to ask you, How are things in real estate? How are you doing? Well, that third C is where you step into consultant role, right? You're not going to give your political opinion. You're going to refer to the data of the moment, the market of the moment. What does that mean? You're going to know exactly the defining moment. For us, March 19th. When did COVID get the most exposure in California? March 19th. So let me tell you, what happened since March 19th. X number of buyers bought, not X number of homes sold. You become a storyteller. X number of buyers bought properties in your neighborhood. Would it surprise you to know that? Well, yeah. So consultant role, the data, and then the fourth C, and we forget about the fourth C. We forget about it too much. Conversion. Every time you're on the phone, you have to convert them to something new. You have to convert them to in your database, into the next call, into a virtual open house. Convert them to a virtual tour, convert them to a virtual listing presentation, but there's got to be a conversion. And this is the gap between non-productive agents and productive agents. Like non-productive agents aren't going to convert. Productive, they're going to convert. So there are 4 C's, not 3. So go through that 4C game. Now, when you're on the phone and you're working with it, you know, I talk about this acronym. It's called MACA. And I'm sure Nick Waldner has a dance for MACA. It might be like the Macarena, I don't know, MACA. But the M is motivation. See, there he goes. M, motivation.
I was like, here we go. Brady, you're asking for it right now. Right.
Everyone has, that show starts at 5, by the way. That motivation, that M, everyone has something they're motivated, right? They're going to motivate to stay in fear. They're going to motivate to get out of fear. They're either going to run close to something or they're going to away from something. But everyone's motivated to do something or nothing. Once you figure that out, then you go into A, anticipate. Well, if you're motivated to stay in fear, I bet you're going to stay on the sofa. If you're motivated to move to Tacoma, I bet you're going to list the home. Anticipate what needs to happen based on the motivation or lack of motivation they've shared with you. The next one is C, communicate to them, pave the path. Let me show you how simple it will be to make the move to Tacoma. I've got a great agent, works with the Ben Kinney companies up there. That would be their pleasure to get you up to Tacoma, right? Once you've communicated, then you've got to do the contribution. Like you got to pour into them. Let me show you the contribution. Let me show you the collaboration. Let me tell you what's going to happen and get those people involved. And then A, accelerate. Time is not on our side, right? We may think that we have this unlimited amount of time, but remember, if you have teams that are running around 28, 29, 30 years old, or if you're that age, in 9/11, you were in elementary school. Oh. And in 2008, you weren't even in the workforce. Your perception that we are in a crisis is not there. Yeah. And if you can't get comfortable, as Gary said, get comfortable saying we're in a crisis, then how is your customer going to get it? Like you have to be the one to say, hey, we're in a depression, but I'm going to get you out of this and accelerate you faster than probably you want to go. So mock up. Fourth, reread or read, but I'm going to go with reread the book Shift and reread it again. Yeah. Okay. Right. And as I said on last week's call, the book I'm rereading along with Shift is Atomic Habits. I have pitched this book all the way to Sunday. And here's the one thing about that book. We don't rise to the level of our goals. We fall down to the level of our systems and habits, right?
That's right.
And as I said to Nick and others, like, I'm not falling in love with motivation. I'm a little tired, but I'm in love with discipline because discipline gives me the habits that creates the production. And when I have the production, guess what? I'll be motivated again.
That is the quote of the webinar. I am not in love with motivation, but I'm falling in love with discipline. Is that it? You said it so much more eloquently.
So here's the quote in my head. Discipline, so I love the results. Discipline.
Perfect. That's the affirmation. I love that.
But here's the thing. We're in an industry that spends so much time on the goal, and then we self-destruct when we can't get it happen. Remember, the plan is not to get you across the finish line. It's to get you out of the gate. That's the purpose of the plan. So if you can't write that plan, your odds of getting out of the gate are lower.
Do you guys see why my phone blew up? I mean, do you have like 10 quotes already from Brady? You're so good, Brady. That's so spot on.
Well, that's very kind. So the thing I'd say is pre-COVID-19, we did, as most of you know, we follow the Ritz-Carlton gold standards. We've taken the 5 gold standards with the models of MREA and the concept of the one thing to build our real estate business. You know, we have the real estate business, but more importantly, we've built the experience around the real estate business, and that's what makes us unique. Yeah. So when we're looking at pre-COVID, we did a hotel daily lineup every morning on Uber at 8:45. It's called the 3 Gs. We go into what we're grateful for. It's gratitude, right? What we're grateful for. Second G, goals. We have to talk about goals, not weekly. We have to talk about goals daily, right? Where are we for the week? Where are we for the month? Where are we for the quarter? Where are we for the year? Collectively and individually, right? And then the third G, grit. What do we need to do today? Who needs more attention? Who needs more inspiration so that we have our goals achieved by the time the day ends? Now, pre-COVID, we did that at 8:45. It was a cultural suggestion. Now it's a standard. And now we do it on Zoom. What does that mean? In the morning, I'm Chief Visionary Officer. Forecast that vision, right? Go on the 3 Gs. But now we do daily script practice on Zoom. Our listing team breaks off into their script practice. Our buying team scripts into theirs. Our operation teams into theirs. And then we come back. Because we want to practice on the people that are our peers, not on the people that pay us. Why are we not comfortable practicing until the people who want to pay us show up? Yeah. Really? I mean, we are in the best culture, the safest room, right? There should be absolutely no ego. There should be one focus, elevating that personal production to a higher level than they had the day before. So those are the 5 things. Now, at the end of the day, we've added this, the 4:45 accountability call. And I am not leading that call because I'm too nice. Dad is too nice. So Curtis, our Chief Operations Officer, who's a little bit meaner than me, is pulling back the curtain and saying, let's look at what you did do. And more importantly, let's look at what you didn't do. And if you didn't do it, let's quickly break that habit. Why? Because habits go 2 ways. If you show up every day, you've got a good habit. If you don't show up every day, you've got a habit. I'm going with option 1, not with option 2, right? So 4:45, let's break the bad habits now so that tomorrow we're starting with the new one. So those are the 5 things in survive mode. Now let's go into thrive. Gary said this to the top 100. You absolutely have to have a 90-day plan. So we stood back and we said, let's write a new GPS. Let's write a new 135 for the next 90 days. So for us, it was May 1st to July 31st, 90-day plan. Now our GPS looks like this. 54 new escrows in 90 days, 33 million in gross sales volume, 825,000 in GCI. That is our one goal. It is SMART, meaning it's specific, it's measurable, it's attainable, it's relevant, and it's timely. You know exactly the direction we're going. Now, under that goal, as we all know, there are 3 Ps. For us, listing taken, listing sold, buyer sale. Very easy to have 3 legs of that stool. So the listing team knows that they have to capture 44 new listings. They have to capture 4, and they've got 5 strategies they have to do every single day. I'll cover them in a moment.
So everybody, what he's talking about is a tool. It's called the 135. And Hattie's going to post, I did a training on that in December. And it's a quick 40-minute video that'll walk you through exactly in detail how to do what Brady's describing.
Awesome. So remember, the goal is your one goal. The P's, there are 3 of them. 3 legs of that stool. For us, it's number of listings taken, number of listings sold, buyer-controlled sales. And underneath each P are 5 strategies, 5 action items you have to do every single day. So we've got the listings taken, we've got the listings sold, we want to sell 24, we will, and we've got the buyer transactions, 30 of them. So we know collectively what we have to do over the next 90 days. That was step number 6, right? And the first part of the Thrive.
Okay.
Second part, we adjusted all of the media to the message of the moment. What does that mean? Well, we do mailings, we do email newsletters, we do print advertising, we do radio, we saturate. But rather than say, call us now, it directs them to a website where they can listen to the message of the moment, which means if we've mailed something out 2 weeks ago, we can redirect the message now because we can reprogram the messaging. The messaging of the moment's changing every day. So we now
really
have
smart,
all the
Brady.
call to action to the videos. It's an online portal, private right now. We're testing it. We'll launch it here shortly. You can follow it. So if I need to get a message out quickly, that's the way I do it without spending more money, right?
So
Okay,
that's really brilliant. I just want to pause on that really quick, everybody. I really love that. So don't stop your marketing. What you want to do is send it to a non-static thing, which is a website, like almost like a live document that you can change in real time. Really smart.
We just launched this a few days ago. We're piloting it. You won't find it online because it's just being piloted.
Awesome.
But I think it's really working well. The next step. Now remember, we're in Palm Springs. We're a resort market, right? There are thousands of rental cars that have been left at the airport alongside the runway. They ran out of room. All the hotels are closed. All the short-term rentals are closed. Buyers can't get here. They have to come in by car and they have to leave that same day. They cannot spend the night, right? So we took the Matterport and we made that a standard, not a suggestion, which means we do a virtual tour. We started at our most expensive listing. We worked our way down the ladder. We created a Facebook post. We pushed it out. We realized that we had on one property, which had been on the market for 62 days at $1.9 million, no offers. We did the virtual tour. We did the post. We pushed it out to San Francisco, Los Angeles, Orange County, San Diego, right? Our feeder markets. You should know your feeder markets. 82,000 people saw the video. One of those individuals, a younger adult child, called their dad. Dad, I found a house that you and mom should buy. Sent them the video. They watched the video. They call their agent. Agent calls us. We confirm they've watched the video. They get in their car. They drive 2 hours from LA. They go through the house. They get back in their car. They drive home. They call their agent. They write the offer. They present it. We accept it. We're done. So look at where the consumer behavior is going to change. How is the behavior of the buyers and sellers going to change? I don't think virtual tours are going to go away. I think they're going to be the new standard for how people select either in or out of the real estate experience.
Hey Brady, I'm getting asked, how did you push that out, that video?
Yeah, so we actually put it on a Facebook geofencing campaign. We just pushed it out to areas, big cities, and we just watched the traction. And literally someone picked up the video, called their dad, and there we go. It was $150 spent on Facebook, right?
Yeah.
And the listing sold for a hair under the $1.9 million price.
It's crazy.
It's only been one thing, but it just happened on Sunday and Monday, right? And now we're Wednesday. Is today Wednesday? I think today's Wednesday.
Yeah, and quarantine talk, today is today, then there's yesterday, then there's next day. There's no day.
That was step number 9. You have to remember that pre-COVID-19, we could kind of get away with the heated market. Some of you have a really hot market. I'm not one of them, right? So I have to make sure that when we list a property, either luxury or traditional, we are pushing the product to the buyers who are most likely going to buy the house, right?
Yeah.
Facebook, Instagram, email, video, get it out into the pages where they're glued to their devices.
Smart.
And step number 10, this is a big one. You need to call 25 agents. Every time you list a property, every time you have a specific buyer you're working with, call 25 other agents. Why? Because those agents are probably not in the MLS. They may have someone in their database that wants to sell. They may have a listing coming on the market. The biggest aha is They're not working at the level of you are. So you can't rely on them to load a listing. You can't rely on them to reach out to you. You've got to reach out to them. So call 25 agents who most likely have a property that your buyer wants to buy, or the other way around. So call people, and great things will happen. So those are the top 10. Any questions?
So Brady, just on that, you know what I used to do on all my luxury listings when I was, more active, very active in sales. I used to do a ranking report, and I would take the zip code of my listing, and I would take the top 25 or 50 agents that sold in that zip code, and I would specifically reach out to them, because I found that if you choose selling agent rather than listing agent, it's often different agents,
Right.
So, not always, but a lot of times people who are really strong at listings, you don't always see their names representing the buyers. It was interesting to me.
Right.
So Brady, we are getting some questions. And one of the questions is going back to your video, a lot of questions about your video. How long was that video that you used as an example?
Okay, so the video, we're clear. We've done a video for the property. It was 5 minutes. Okay. It was a minute of me introducing the property. It was 3 minutes going through the property really quickly, and a minute of a closing. It was very, very tight. Some can be longer. I don't recommend shorter, right? 5 minutes. But it was the Matterport. It was the 3D tour that really triggered the call to action, because the buyer had looked at the photos of the home but did not see themselves in the home. But once they went through the tour, they saw themselves in the home. That was the trigger point that caused them to make the appointment.
Cool, thank you. Do you guys have any other questions for Brady? We're going to email you these. Everyone who is registered on today's webinar will email you these, and we'll also put them up on our Facebook group. It's free to join. Anyone here can join that. Hattie can post the link to that. Definitely, you want to join that group because there's a lot of content in there. We typically do our follow-up conversations for these webinars in there. But if you don't have any questions for Brady, thank you so much. I am so excited. I think I might just post that list of 10 right next to my desk. You are just, and by the way, can we just talk about how amazing all your acronyms are? Like, do you have like 100 of them in your head? Like, do you just think about it like you're going to eat cereal in the morning? You're like, I'm going to think of an acronym for the cereal. It's just great. I love it.
I think we're in a situation, Via, we have a lot of distractions. And so one of the things I really enjoy is taking a lot of information and streamline it to make it a very simple message. So I hope that today's message was simple yet powerful, and that you can connect the dots of how you can put this in your business immediately. I'll just leave it at this, that, as we talked about, we took the gold standards, like the Ritz-Carlton gold standards. There are 5 of them. We took the MREA models of Keller Williams and the principle of the one thing, and we built a real estate business here in Palm Springs. So what we did is we flipped it from the functionality of sales, and we said, create the entire experience around the real estate, right? Just like Starbucks, take a cup of coffee and spin the experience around the cup of coffee, right? We're doing the same thing here with real estate. So it would be our pleasure to share that down the road. But in the meantime, just show up every day with the core values we do. Aspire, anticipate what your customers need, give it to them before they realize they need it. Show up to serve, be that big servant heart, serve your ladies and gentlemen alongside of you, then the customers in front of you. P, perform. You're in the performance business. You're going to have to perform better, stronger, faster, smarter today than ever before, and inspire those around you. We are in the best room we can be in right now. Inspire those that need help. If you need help, put your hand out. If you're ready to inspire, lean in, right? Respond. Great letter R, respond. People are ready to do business with you. And I challenge you to say that your people in your database may be more motivated than you are. So be disciplined enough to help them. And E, show up every day to excel. Excel and exceed the expectations for yourself and those around you. It has been my pleasure to hang out with you. And I'm sure we'll talk soon. I'll sign off.
Thank you, my friend. All right. Talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
All right, guys. Isn't he amazing? You can see why my phone grew. I can also start seeing okay, this is what's happening. The body language shifting. Nick's like, all right, I'm getting ready. I can see Perna. I can see Austin. I can see them I can feel the energy, gentlemen. So here's what happened. So last week we were all on in a mastermind together, and I, of course, do what I do. Started, side chatting little funny things to my friends. And Nick and Mike Perna, I don't know how it came up, but it came up that they had just done a script off. What happened? What's that story, guys?
Well,
There wasn't much to tell.
I basically went to Maryland, kicked some butt, and came home.
I wouldn't even would you call it a competition if the other guy didn't get any votes?
Call it a competition if the other guy leaves after the first question.
Yeah, I'm going to start muting Here's what happened. I'm like blocking you.
With love, for all love.
I said, with love, you didn't have a real referee, gentlemen. Let Mama Via tell you who won. And then I said, no, actually, this is what we're going to do. What we're going to do is we're going to let my amazing Wednesday webinar attendees do our first ever poll. So Hattie is on in stealth mode right now. We've never done a poll before. So I'm a little scared about this tech, but Hattie, how is this going to work with the poll? Can you explain to us how this looks?
Yeah, so after they're done with the script, I'll just click a button and the poll will come up and you guys vote. And as soon as it's done, I can show you who won.
Okay,
Yep.
Nick, I love that you're fortifying.
Yeah, there'll be Team Maryland and Team Michigan. Vote Team Michigan.
What
I
do you
like how
have
you
it
put
down
Maryland above. Even though technically Michigan's above Maryland, you already know.
He's like, Maryland.
Hey, alphabetical order, being respectful.
Yeah. Hey, Hattie, what are the two, what do you have them labeled?
It's just by each script. They're all the same.
No, but who are the two teams? What do you have the teams labeled as?
Just Mike and Nick.
Okay, Mike and Nick. All right. Okay.
We're going to need you to be more fun and come up with something a little bit more exciting.
Okay. Okay. Calm down, everybody. Okay, here's what we're going to do. Okay, I'm ready. Like, I'm actually standing like in ready stance. I'm so excited right now. If you could see me, I've got my tennis shoes on and like I'm ready to go. Nick, stretching. Let's all stretch for a minute. This is good. This is good. Austin, come on. Let's go. That's good. Okay. So here's who we have today. We have Mike Perna and Austin. Austin, I don't know how to pronounce your last name. How do I pronounce your last name?
Hottest. You're good.
Hottest. Perfect. We have Mike Perna, Austin Pottist from Detroit, Michigan. Those of you who have been on our Wednesday webinars know this is Mike's third visit to us, right? Which Richard Schulman was really quick to point out. It's the only reason I know. He's like, oh, I see. So Perna's coming back 3 times. So that means we'll probably have to have Shuli on next week. Anyway, you know what we might do, guys? Let's have Richard Schulman come on and battle the winner. Ooh.
Yes.
That's what we're going to do. We're going to start having like semifinals. It's going to be great. And then
so I'm just going to be on every week.
Yeah, well, maybe. All right. And then we have the amazing Nick Waldner from
Change your name
Maryland.
to Ken Jennings, Mike.
That's
I don't know who Ken Jennings is, but Nick Waldner, you're from where in Maryland? What markets do you serve?
So Baltimore is the main city of Maryland that everybody would know. My team handles about 90% of the entire state. So anytime you think of Maryland, there's a very good chance we cover it. We do have the ocean 2.5 hours that way. And we have some mountains 2.5 hours that way, a much smaller part of the overall Maryland real estate. So the other 90% we cover.
Okay, that's great. We here in Washington know about mountains and oceans, so we appreciate that. All right, good. So here's what we're going to do. Everybody focus. We're going to have 3 objections, and these are 3 objections I handpicked because these are what I'm hearing from my 1,300 agents, in all of my brokerages, okay? So I'm going to go through, I'm going to say objection 1, I'm going to throw it down, and then I'll be the role play person, okay? So we're going to walk through that objection, and then we're going to go right to the other person, and then we're going to put a poll up and we're going to vote. So there's going to be 3 times, audience, that you're going to vote on this, okay? And this is all in good fun, by the way. Audience, my gift to you, because here's what I'm going to ask for in exchange, though, because nothing's free in life, right? We're going to type these up and transcribe these, okay, like we did last time. In exchange, would you do me a favor and invite at least 1 person to our next Wednesday webinar? And Hattie's going to post the link for our next Wednesday webinar. But if you would invite at least 1 person to our Wednesday webinar, my gift to you is I'm going to type out all of these scripts. Okay, gentlemen, start your engines. Are you ready? All right. How are we going to decide who goes first? I could spend hours on that.
Please, age before beauty.
Oh,
So that's you?
Well, I'm not going to step into that. I'm not going to step into that. Let's do.
I'll let the 2 verse 1. I'll let the 2 start.
All right. So, Mike or Austin, do you want to do this first one?
Austin, take it away, man. All you.
Austin, we're going to have Austin versus Nick, and we're going to have Austin first. And here is the objection. Hattie, maybe you can type this out. I don't know. The objection is a seller objection, Austin and Nick. And it's, I want to wait to list until shelter in place is over because I don't know if this is the best time to get top dollar for my house. On your mark, get set, Austin, go.
Yeah, very good. Okay, so I can appreciate that. So let me just clarify a couple things if you don't mind. So it sounds to me like you'd like to sell your house.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit more about why you're selling.
Well, we want to move. We've identified a subdivision that we'd like to move to, but we don't have to move, but we'd like to kind of move and get settled in before the next school year.
Yeah, that makes sense. Hey, so do you mind me asking, so is your biggest challenge right now is you just want to make sure that you're getting top dollar and your concern is that you're not going to get top dollar because of COVID and what's going on?
Yeah, we know we want to sell in the next 6 months. The thing that we're struggling with is, should we do it this month?
Yeah, got it. Okay, makes sense. Okay, do you mind if I share with you a little bit about what's going on in our market?
Yeah, I would love it.
Okay, so obviously the governor came out and said that as of March 23rd, we couldn't conduct business. And I don't know if you knew this, but we haven't been able to do anything. We haven't been able to do photography up until this point. We haven't been able to do yard signs. We haven't been able to show homes, open houses. We really haven't been able to market or sell a home outside of a virtual setting, right?
Yeah.
So some really exciting news happened last Friday, and the governor of the state of Michigan came out and said, you are allowed to start showing homes tomorrow on Thursday.
Oh, wow.
Right? Okay. So we're over here doing jumping jacks. We're super excited. So what's really interesting is, if you don't mind, let me share with you a little bit about what's happened in our market in January and February. So in January, we actually saw the hottest January that we've ever seen on our team. Wow. We've sold more houses in that January and February than we ever have before. And then March was off to a great start, and then kind of all this happened, right? And what's interesting is, in the background, we've been having conversations with lots of folks that need to move for lots of different reasons. People that need to move because of job transfers, people that need to move because they're having another baby and need another bedroom, people that are moving because of lifestyle, they want to get onto a lake, people are moving because their leases are up, right? All these things. So do you remember as a kid, did you have a garden hose?
Yeah, of course.
Did you ever do the thing where you pinch the garden hose?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, okay. And so then if you got someone to stand in front of the garden hose and you opened it up, what happened?
It sprayed them really hard.
Yeah, just like, and then you'd laugh and you'd run around, they'd be mad at you, and maybe you got in trouble. That was my experience, right? So right now we have this massive garden hose. People in the state of Michigan move in the months of, our number one moving month is May. Our number two and kind of 2B are April and June. So we've had this giant garden hose, and guess what's happening tomorrow?
Is it going to explode?
That's right. So by sitting on the sidelines over the next couple of months, you're just going to miss out on that initial, right? And the more prudent thing to do is, we know we can sell. We know that interest rates are fantastic. See, sellers care about how much money that they're getting at the end, but buyers care about how much money they're putting down and what the new payment is going to be. Mm-hmm. So we've got interest rates in the 3s. We've got all this pent-up demand that's happening. Matter of fact, I would actually say to you, if you don't get your home on the market in the next couple weeks, you're completely missing out on one of the largest opportunities maybe of your lifetime. So the next step for us is this. Let's meet Let's go through exactly how we're going to market the home, exactly how I'm going to get the photography up. Let's pick out some dates to get you on the market. And then let's really strategize together about how we're going to get the most money for your home. So are you available later on this evening? Are you available tomorrow? Kind of what's your schedule?
Later on this evening, my friend. That sounds great.
Yeah, let's do it.
Awesome. Nick Waldner, I am a seller. I want to wait to list my home until shelter in place is over because I just don't know if this is the best time to get top dollar for my house.
Yeah, and Via, I can't argue with you. I mean, it's some pretty crazy time. How are you and the family doing?
Great. We're good, thanks. Yeah.
Oh, good. Because we know we're in this storm together and we're all kind of weathering it in different ways. But let me ask you a few questions. So if we weren't dealing with any of this COVID stuff, what's making you want to make the move?
Yeah, we for sure would be on the market by now if it wasn't for COVID. We've identified a subdivision we want to move to. We'd like to be there, sometime this summer. And so between now and August 31st, it's kind of open as to whether we have to be there or not. But we've just wanted to move for a while.
Okay. And what makes that subdivision so appealing? What does that have that you don't currently have now?
Yeah, thanks for asking. It's just a bigger house, and it's because you sold it to me. So thanks for that. I'm kidding. It's a bigger house. It's a better school district, and a better quality of life.
Oh man, what grade are the kids going into now?
Yeah, I got a freshman in college, a sophomore in high school, and a fourth grader.
Oh man. All right. So schools are really important and we want to get into that school district, and obviously we want to do it before August. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Now you mentioned a bigger house. Why bigger? What about that is appealing?
Well, I'm quarantined with my 3 kids, so bigger is very appealing right now. Yeah. So
okay.
That's pretty much.
And I know when you were buying your house, you like to entertain. So I'm guessing you probably want a little bit of a larger kitchen and you want that big backyard.
Yeah,
okay.
And we really want a home office.
Oh, perfect. Okay, so we want to add a home office so you have a place that you can work at, as we're there. Okay, perfect. So I have a good understanding of where you want to go and why, but let me ask you, what's the reason that you think now is not a good time to sell?
Well, I'm worried that we're not going to get, top dollar for our house right now with COVID. The way things are, it feels like there's probably no one's buying, no one's thinking about real estate right now. And I'm concerned if we list our house, it'll sit on the market and then it'll get stale, I think you guys call it. And, and that we won't get the amount of money that we might get, later on when all of this gets better.
Yeah, it's crazy because the general consensus is, if all of us are at home, then nobody's out buying and selling real estate. So why would I want to sell now? Yeah. Now, can I tell you some kind of crazy facts and figures that we've seen over the last couple of months?
Yeah, please.
So right now in our market, we are down to just a 1 month supply of inventory. Now, on average, we're probably closer to 6 months supply, but we have very little homes on the market. And the thing is, even with COVID, we've got a lot of buyers who still need to buy a home. We've got people who are relocating here. We've got people that are downsizing. We have people that are having babies and need a bigger house. Like, it's amazing the buyer demand. And then have you noticed what's going on with the interest rates?
Yeah, they're low, aren't they? They're kind of bouncing around.
Yeah, they're like historic low. You can afford a lot more house now as a buyer than you could even 6 months ago. So all of a sudden, we've got buyers who need to buy, and now we've got buyers that were kind of on the fence that don't want to lose out on this interest rates because their fear is 6 months from now, maybe the rates go back up, so they want in. But we have this lack of seller inventory, and I can tell you some good news about my team and what we've done, if that's okay.
Yeah.
So in the last 30 days, we've actually put 32 houses under contract. And the average days on the market for those 32 houses was 17 days. Wow. So your fear is going on the market and not having any buyers and becoming stale. And trust me, if that was the fear, I'm right there with you because that's not something we want to do. But what we're seeing is with such a lack of inventory and a stronger buyer motivation based on everything that's going on in the interest rates, now is the time. Now, here's our other option. we could wait until we lift a little bit more of these restrictions and things kind of open up. But what would you guess is going to happen when restrictions start to lift? Do you think more or less sellers will start coming on the market?
Oh, you know, at first I was thinking more buyers would come on the market. It didn't occur to me. I guess you're right. I guess sellers would want to come on the market, Nick. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so if we're going to sell your home, I want you to be a rare diamond that's out there and available rather than, you know, another shiny penny among all the other pennies that hit the market. So let's do the right thing and let's get your house listed now, so that when the buyers, when the rest of the sellers show up and there's lots of houses, the inventory rises and prices might take a turn, we're already off the market, we're in your new house, we're entertaining, we've got your office, and we're enjoying some new school systems.
Wow, that's great. That sounds great. Thank you, gentlemen. What I like about this is, and as Hattie puts up the poll, so be sure to vote. Hattie, how does this work? Do we need to know anything? Or that is so cool. Do we get it in real time?
Oh, I can't vote?
Man. No, you're not. You get out.
Wait, I can't vote?
I can vote for you, Nick.
Fingers off of the keyboard, gentlemen. This is why the referee is in the house. This is why the referee is in the house.
Via,
Okay, Austin,
why'd you block Nick from voting for me? Why'd you block Nick from voting for me?
Here's what Austin, I want to tell them what you did that I think was really, really brilliant. Is I think you built it up to a point that prepared everybody for the floodgate really well with their visual. What I know is everybody you use that hose visual on, which I'm now going to start using, by the way, you're going to hear me say it on the air, is it's such a good visual that'll stick with them. I think that is really smart and really, really brilliant. So Nick, my friend, even though you may have gotten a couple more votes on this one, Austin, I love what you did with that. I thought it was really good and really, really smart. Okay, in the interest of time, we're going to go on to number 2, Perna. We got you versus Nick. Okay, Nick, do you want to? Up to you, my friend. Do you want to go first, or do you on this one? You want to just keep rolling, or do you want to have Mike go first?
Yeah, I mean, I get 75% of the votes and I lose that one, so I don't know how that happened. But okay, yeah, I'll let Mike go.
Wait, you didn't? No, you won it. You won it. You got 92 votes.
But you gave your vote to Austin, and I'm disappointed because you were the seller.
I actually did not give my vote to Austin. I am referee Via is acknowledging that Nick Waldner got 74%. And Austin got 27%, which is why I wanted to spend a little extra time giving Austin some love.
All right, awesome. Mike, welcome. Let's see how you can do.
All right, let's do this.
All right, objection number 2. Who's going first? What did we decide?
Mike is.
First. Yeah.
Okay, Mike Perna, objection 2. I am a buyer. Mike, I think prices are going to go down. I'm going to hold pat. I'm going to wait until that happens and not buy right now. I think there's some opportunity time coming.
And Via, I completely understand where you're coming from. So what I'm hearing you say is prices are going to go down and you want to make sure you're buying at the absolute lowest possible. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you notice?
I mean, ideally.
Yeah. Did you notice last month with Wall Street where prices just tumbled? Yet we just had the single greatest gain month in the last 20 years.
Yeah, I saw that. It was amazing.
Yeah, and there was no way to tell. There's no way to know, and there's no crystal ball that can tell either one of us, you know, what the best and what the worst time is going to be. Is that fair?
That's fair.
Excellent. Now let me ask you the question. How long are you going to spend in that next property?
We think like 5 to 7 years.
Okay. And then let's say property values do go down. How much do you feel they're going to go down?
I don't know, maybe 10 or 20% or something.
Yeah, no, and I can appreciate that. And right now, looking at all the economic data, looking at how strong of an economy we had going into this crash versus the previous crash, most economists are anticipating somewhere between 5 and 8%. Okay, and that's it. And that's about the top of it. And a lot of that has to do with equity and things like that, and all kinds of other factors leading into now that we didn't have then as far as strength goes. And I can go into all that at a different time. The important thing to know is on that $300,000 house you're considering purchasing, at most, we're looking at 15 to 25,000. That price might move down.
Yeah. Okay.
However, during that time, we also have the best interest rates right now we've seen in its clear 30 years. Is that fair?
Yeah. Seems like it.
We are rock bottom.
Yeah.
Rock bottom.
Okay.
Over the next 5 to 7 years, if interest rates will go up just a half a point, it will completely negate the 25,000 in savings. Right?
How is that? How so?
Yep. And at that point, I'm going to pull up a mortgage calculator and I'm going to show you that if interest rates go up on this home, it's going to cost you this amount per month, this amount per year, this amount in 5, and this amount in 7. But during the 2-year wait, where home values may or may not have gone down, what else happened?
What happened? I don't know.
You didn't get to enjoy the home.
Oh, right. I didn't.
You didn't get to
Exactly.
make the memories.
Yeah.
You didn't get to raise your kids in it. You didn't get into the school district. You didn't get to do all those wonderful things that you originally called me to help you do with your family.
We really want to go to this new neighborhood. So you're right. I'd like to be there.
Absolutely. Further, in the last recession, and just putting this one out there, we had gone from peak to peak, from high tide to high tide in 5 years. So if your concern is values may come down and not go up, in 5 to 7 years, not only will, if they do go down, if they do, not only will they have gone down, but they will have gone up and you would have made money on the appreciation. All the while enjoying the home with your family, enjoying the district, enjoying the downtowns.
Oh, all right. Okay. Fair enough.
So I've got 3 homes that I've handpicked that I feel would be a great fit for you and your family. What's better for you to go see those? 5 o'clock tonight or 6 o'clock tomorrow?
Did you say homes or poems?
Homes.
Oh.
I want to go see the poems at 5 o'clock tonight, please.
All right. 5 o'clock it is.
Impressive.
Nick Waldner,
impressive.
Very, very well done. Nick Waldner, I am a buyer and I really think that, I need to hold tight because I think prices are going to go down.
Okay, absolutely. And Via, can we talk about that a little bit?
Sure.
So you're probably in the same boat as I am, where if I think something's going to go on sale, I'm going to wait. I'm going to buy it when it's on sale, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, I'll go to Costco and buy a 25-pound jug of peanut butter because it's cheaper.
Yeah,
I get it. So I'm in the same boat as you. But forgetting about price for a second, what's causing you to want to buy? Where do you want to go?
Yeah, we want to go to this new subdivision. It's a big, bigger, the one that you sold us. Oh no, this is, oh God, wrong.
Yeah,
wrong
you're a buyer
role play.
now. Come on.
We want you to, we want to go to there's an area we're interested in, Nick, and this whole area is closer to the school. It's in the school district we want our kids in. And it's just, in general, the houses are nicer and have bigger yards.
Okay, perfect. And right now, to get in that school district, we're a little bit nervous that the prices might drop. And what grade are the kids in?
4th and 10th.
4th and 10th. Okay, perfect. What are your thoughts on when the prices are going to fall? Do you think we're going to need to wait a year, 2 years, 3 years? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, do you think they're going to drop during the summer? Because we kind of do want to be there by the next school year.
Yeah, and that's really the question, because if we thought it was going to drop to the lowest point 2 years from now or 3 years from now, here's the only problem with that and how it relates to your family. Your 10th grader will be completely out of high school and going to college. Your 4th grader will be going into middle school, so at least they'll benefit from the new schools. Are you okay with your high school son not being in the school district that you really want him in? Will that affect his college or any of that next steps?
Yeah, he's really looking forward to entering that school his junior year.
Okay, I understand that. Now, here's the good news. You're thinking about a summer move. And right now, we're already in May. So if we make a phone call and we start getting pre-approved and get all that process started, and you've heard about interest rates and how they are right now, right?
Yeah, low, right?
Yeah, super low. So that's the other thing. If interest rates go up 0.5%, we're going to lose a lot of buying power. And it's going to be like, even if the market drops 25,000, you won't gain anything because your payment will be the same. So forgetting all that, if we have a conversation with a lender now And then here's what I'd like to do. I'd like to start setting you up on a search for homes in that school district. And let's just pause and watch it. And let's see if there's anything that comes out that we really like. And obviously, if there is, we can jump on it right away. And if we start to see prices fall, we'll see that together because we'll be watching the market. And then we can make some decisions whether it makes sense to get in there before August so that your son can enjoy that new school system, or we wait and see kind of what the market does. How does that sound?
Yeah, that sounds good. And I guess we can, we can sometimes go and make a low offer, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go look.
All right. Okay, Hattie's gonna pull up that script. Great job, gentlemen. Thank you so much. You guys are so much fun to do this for us. Okay, this is the buyer script. This is the buyer script, and it's, what compelled you, who compelled you the most to get out there and buy a home if you're a buyer? Ooh, you guys, it's like neck and neck.
Ooh,
what's our margin of error? Ooh, it is neck and neck.
It's hard. When Mike's a good guy, I always feel like we tie.
It is so close. Wow. I'm calling this a tie. I'm calling this a tie at this point. Now, this might change a little bit, but there's got to be a margin of error. I don't know. We can do absolute votes. It's so close. Okay, we're going to try to tie break this one with the third objection. Who wants to, Perna team, who's going to take it for the third one?
I'll take it. Nick, you want to go first?
Sure.
Yeah, Nick, let's have you go first this time. All right. I am a seller. Nick, here's the thing. I want to sell my house, but I don't want to have people going through it right now. I'm working from home. My husband's working from home, Nick. I've got 3 kids at home. I just don't want people to come through my house. Plus, it doesn't feel very safe. It doesn't feel safe right now to potentially risk my family's health to put my house on the market and have people come through. But we really do want to sell our house.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I don't know about your house, but we are shelter in place. We're not going anywhere. I'm the only one going to the grocery store, and I'm not a grocery store shopper. But, it's just what we're doing to keep our family safe. So I can respect that completely. What is making you want to sell?
Well, we have a subdivision we want to go to, the one that you're selling us. And it's in a different school district. It's a better school district, bigger house.
Okay. So in a perfect world without COVID, we would want to make that move now. We'd want to go there, but we got to worry about our health and safety first and foremost. Would you agree?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, perfect. So I can tell you that no one is going to tell you whether you should or shouldn't sell. It's going to be a personal decision. So I want you to know there's no pressure from me. Whether you want to sell now or in a month or 2 months when you're ready, it's totally up to you. But can I tell you some of the steps that our team is taking now to help with some of that fear?
Sure. Yeah, I'd love to hear it.
Okay, so perfect. So one of the things that we're doing is our new virtual tours. We're doing 3D tours of your house, every angle, all the cameras. We're taking shots from all over. We're putting more information online. We're doing virtual open houses. So that means, again, nobody's coming to your house. These are all virtual. And it allows us to get more information about your home out to the general public, to the buyers that are out there. Because believe it or not, there are a lot of buyers out there. On average, we're selling in about 17 days with our sellers. So things are moving quick.
Okay.
But number one, we've got to worry about your health and safety. So if someone does want to see your house, we take some necessary steps. First thing we do is I call the agent personally. And I'll have a conversation and say, hey, just want to make sure nobody in your party has had any symptoms, any fever, anything like that. Then we double check to make sure that the agent knows the only people allowed in your house are going to be people that will sign the contract. So no kids, no extra family members, no mom and dad, no friends. We want to keep the group as small as possible. Yeah. And then I ask about their motivation. And the great news is right now they're telling me their motivation. So if we have somebody that called and said, this is a lawyer who just got transferred for work. He needs a house. He needs to start in a month and a half, and his family is like ready to go. Is that somebody you're willing to let in the house?
Yeah, I would do it under those circumstances. Sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then if I ask what's your motivation and I hear, we're just kind of looking around, hadn't really decided on a neighborhood, would you agree that it's probably a good idea to not let them in?
Yeah, I wouldn't want to.
I think they can see enough. So now we take it a next step further. So when people come to your house, we'll actually have a sign on your front door, and that sign will let the buyer and buyer agents know what we've done to get the house ready. So the first thing we ask is, as the seller, you turn all the lights on, you open up all the window shades, you open up the pantry and the basement door so everything in the house is ready to go for them to come in and see it. And then we're very clear instructions to our buyer's agents that they are to open the lockbox and open the front door. And then they are to touch nothing throughout the entire house. The buyers are not allowed to touch anything in the house. Their goal is to walk through your home and get a sense of what you have, but all the lights are on, all the doors are open, there's nothing they need to touch. And this isn't just for your safety, it's for their safety as well, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so
for sure.
During showings, we're limiting the amount of people that are going to be in there, only the people signing, and we're asking you to leave as well. So we don't want you guys there either because we want to protect your safety. So at any point in time, if you said to me, hey, Nick, I'm really feeling uncomfortable with this, we can pull it off the market, go temporarily off until you feel a little bit more comfortable. But if things are going well and we're getting really motivated sellers, we might be able to get your home sold faster than you think.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to switch it over to Mike for time. Let's go, Mike.
All right, give me the objection one more time.
So I'm a buyer. I'm a seller, Mike, and I just don't want people, I don't want to list right now because I don't want people coming through my home. I'm home working from home. My kids are getting homeschooled right now. You know, I don't think it sounds healthy to have people traipsing through my home right now, so I'm not comfortable, but we do want to sell.
Well, and just to repeat back to you, I want to make sure your absolute priority, your number one, is your family's safety. Am I hearing that right?
Completely, always.
Okay. And just speaking about myself personally, if your family's safety was in any order other than number one, your values and my values would not be in alignment, and I could not be able to take you on as a client. Okay.
Okay.
Last month, we sold 30 properties. We had 0 showings. Not one buyer went through one door.
Oh, wow.
Each one of those properties, we sold at top dollar, and in many cases, we exceeded the highest sales price of those neighborhoods.
Wow.
Okay?
Okay.
All right. Are you ready to get started?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
You guys are amazing.
Maybe we can make up facts and figures.
Okay, here's the thing. On the last one, Perna got 57, Nick got 56 votes, but it was 51-50. So technically Mike Perna won, but that's almost a tie. So Hattie's going to put up this one, and I'm going to call this the tiebreaker. This is going to be the tiebreaker. And if this is exactly a tie, then I'll use that last one. We'll see. We'll just take a look. So did you like short and sweet Mike Perna? Or did you like Nick walking me through the garden path of all of that? Oh, Nick, they like the garden path. Looks like we're settling in. Nick Waldner.
Oh.
Nick Waldner. Oh, man. Mike Perna, just so you guys know, Perna's already sent Nick and I texts with memes that he's made up from screenshots during the webinar. Like the smack talk has literally been happening as they were talking during the webinar. So, and at one point when I was objection handling with one of you, the reason I screwed up is because I stupidly checked my text message and I'm like, wait, am I a seller or a buyer? Like, all right, full disclosure. That is awesome. Thank you guys so much. I have to hop over because I'm so excited to bring Seychelles Van Pool on. But thank you guys again. Would you guys be willing to come back?
Wait, do we get a victory speech?
Hi!
Oh, say hi.
He wins.
Did Daddy win? Yeah.
Daddy's the winner.
Come on.
Daddy's the winner. Oh, it's so cute. Of course, your kid's gonna be beautiful.
He's so big.
Have fun.
Oh,
Daddy's so big.
beautiful. Hi, you guys. This is so cute. Are you guys? Would you come back? Would you come back and do more script offs and maybe bring some of your team members?
Ooh, that'd be cool.
Nick and Perna, am I getting yeah, okay. We'll do another one then. We'll do another one.
I say yes, but Richard Schulman owes me $10.
Well, I think we'll bring Shuli and so let's do some team members next time. So we can't have too many scripts. So we'll talk about that for the next time. But thank you, gentlemen. I'm gonna pull Seychelles on, and I'm gonna spotlight our beautiful Seychelles. So for all of you, full disclosure, Seychelles and I have been spending a ton of time together. I mean, we've been spending like more time together.
All the time. We're basically living together, but just
we're basically virtually living together. Do you want to tell everybody why, Say?
Well, we've been working on a project. And when I say a project, it's a very time intensive, I live with you kind of a project. We are 16 episodes deep in filming KWRI's newest podcast they're launching on June 1st called Empire Building. So
called Empire Building. We are so excited. And we just saw the brand assets this morning, didn't we? So
it looks so good.
Oh,
I'm so pumped.
Exciting. So exciting. So Keller Williams has a network, and on that network they have Think Like a CEO podcast, right? And they have the One Thing podcast. And we're going to be are we considered the second or third? I think it's the third podcast they've launched. And it's called Empire Building. And oh my gosh, it's Seychelles, me, Wendy Papazan, Sarah Reynolds. And for those of you guys, I've been interviewing real estate icons every Friday at 11. I did Chris Suarez, I did Ben Kinney. I'm going to be interviewing as part of that series, Seychelles, Wendy Papazan, and Sarah Reynolds. And so I got them stacked up. Wendy is May 29th. And then either Sarah or Seychelles is that first week in June, and then the other one is that second week in June. So please, if please, the Bo and Kimber Mankitti interview that's this Friday, please register for that. Their story, every one of my interviews on those Fridays are incredible. They're very in-depth. They're hour-long interviews. Most people are talking about things they've never talked about on air. And I interviewed Ben Kinney last Friday, and it's interesting because I know Ben well. I work side by side with him, and I learned things about Ben, fascinating things. At one point, he almost choked me up. I mean, it was really intense, actually. So, Hattie, maybe you can put that replay on here. But I encourage you guys to join our leadership mentoring Facebook group. And all the stuff we talk about, we just dump on that in that Facebook group.
It's so good because you provide so much value in there, and you guys give so much without asking for anything in return. It's really to help people grow. And I'm excited, actually. Kimber, who you're having on Friday, is one of the inspirations for how we decided to do the podcast.
Yep, she is.
We've got a tribe of 11 of us that actually are the co-founders of Amplify, and she's one of the founders of it. Yep. And it's through our shared experiences that is really what's bred the podcast. So that's exciting.
That's right. And so, Seychelles, I just wanted to pull you on for our last few minutes because I think what you do with tracking your data is amazing. So for those of you, for our friends that join us regularly on these Wednesday webinars, I just love data, and I love presenting data. And I'm really a numbers freak. And I used to not be at all. I used to say things like, oh, I don't do numbers. I don't do my numbers. I used to be that person. And so I saw you last week on Keller Williams Connect, doing this with, I can't remember if it was James Shaw who you were with. James Shaw. And I thought, and then I texted you while you were still on air, I texted you and I said, can you please come show our people what you're doing? So I'm hoping you can just walk us through in the next 10 minutes.
Yeah, I will. We'll keep it short and sweet. I think that's the way numbers should be, honestly, is
well said. Me too.
Numbers, I think you can kind of squirrel out and get lost in the detail with them. But really, what I love numbers for is they help us tell our story, right? And especially when we're in times of uncertainty and a lot of emotion, I think numbers help us keep things within the lines and allow people to make educated decisions on where their priorities lie. And I saw this really neat analogy of the term crisis and how in Chinese it actually can mean danger, but crisis can mean opportunity. And so the symbol can mean either of those two things. And what I thought was interesting about that was really numbers help us take the danger and the extreme side of the opportunity, and it really brings it down to the priorities. And that's really what numbers do for us on our team. And so Gary told us back in the last downturn, so this would have been in 2007, for our market, you guys should really be tracking your numbers on a weekly basis. And he said that, and I thought that's a good idea. And I wrote that down with about, 40 other good ideas, and just never implemented it. And he said, the only reason why I tell you this is because if you're not tracking your numbers on a weekly basis, most MLSs won't let you go back and retroactively pull what I'm about to show you. So you can't go back and recreate it. But it also, you need to look at them on a weekly basis, because when your market shifts, it goes very slowly and then suddenly. And so if you're not paying attention, you can get the Case-Shiller index reports quarterly, right? So we don't know that has shifted until a quarter later. And most news outlets, I can tell you, in both of the shifts that we've had here, our Dallas Morning News, so we're in Dallas, Fort Worth, our Dallas Morning News and the Fort Worth Star-Telegram were 3 months behind the shift. And the national news media were 5 to 6 months behind our shift. And so if we weren't watching the numbers closely, we would actually be tracking with the news media instead of 90 days ahead of anybody else in our market.
Wow,
so I'm going to pull up my screen.
Perfect.
And I'm going to jump into it, because it's easier to show. So what we did is, originally I created a really, really, really ugly spreadsheet. And you can tell, so Gary told us to do this in 2007. And I did not adopt this until January of 2015. So don't be like Seychelles and wait 7 years to do this. Do it today. And what happened was we had gone through the downturn and come back up, and I realized, oh no, we're due for a shift again, right? From 07 to 2015 was 7 years. And Gary Keller always says, right, and we watch the economists, they always say shifts usually happen in 7-year stints. And I thought, oh my gosh, we're going to start shifting again. And here I am flying by the seat of my pants. And now I'm going to have no idea that our market has shifted because I haven't been watching my numbers. So it really was out of fear that I created this. And then our admin team took it and made it beautiful and amazing, because that's what they do. So basically what we've done is, this is on a Google sheet. There's nothing sexy about this. It is very simple. And we made the weeks follow the NASDAQ calendar, so we could go back and time it to the Wall Street count, back to Wall Street figures. So we can track Dow and the NASDAQ at the same time we track the real estate market. I think it just makes it simpler. So what we did was, then you can see week over week trends for a couple of different categories that we're watching. Amazing. And you can see it from 2015 all the way through this year.
So those are actives that we're looking at now, because you're on the active tab.
So let me show you the numbers we track. So the first one is total market activity. And you can see we started tracking the other numbers and then realized, oh no, we should track total market activity too. So you can actually see where we picked that up. And so if you scroll across, check this out. So in 2016, at the beginning of the year, right, we were sitting around 17,500 homes, somewhere in active, under contract, pending, sold in the real estate market, somewhere in status. Then we go to 18,000, then we go to 20,000, then we go to 24,000, then 25,000. It's a huge year over year change, right? Take a look at our actives. Tells an interesting story too. So you can see when we got smart and started, but in January, you can see we were at 12,000, really tight market in our actives, 13,000 in 2017. 14,000, and then we shifted in July. You can see this, like right at the end of May, June, July. Look at this.
Yeah.
Woo!
And that was exactly, it's so funny. It was May and June into July in Seattle of 2018. Exact same months. Wow.
Nobody, who was talking about it though then? No one. No one. And not only was I talking about it, I was freaking out because I was looking at this going, we have crested 20,000 active listings, and that is really freaking me out. And so then we went from, in a matter of, in a matter of like 2 months, we went from 18,000 to, look at this.
Yeah, I remember.
3,000 in a couple of months. And then I'm going, oh no. So I'm telling all of our sellers, right? I'm freaking out. I'm telling all of our sellers, they think I am absolutely crazy, but we are getting price reduction after price reduction, like aggressive.
And look at the year over year. Look at your year over year
Right.
too.
Look,
I mean, you're 22.7 versus, you know, what, 19, whatever that was, but crazy. Wow.
Way.
I am drooling over the stat I say.
Yes. And so we're calling, I get this. I had a seller in 2018, $1 million seller, which is nothing for you guys in Seattle, but like luxury for us here in Dallas, Fort Worth. And I called him. He was, this had been his third time using us to buy and sell. And I knew he wanted to sell his $1 million house and the next year move into his house in 2019 that they were building a $2 million house. So he was moving up and trying to time it where he didn't move twice. But I'm watching these numbers. So I watch these and I call him in July and I go, hey, Sean, your numbers are creeping up. I'm kind of worried. And he's like, we're not moving. I'm like, totally fine. I know you have a year left on your 2-year build, but just heads up. So then the Dallas Morning News picks up the story in September. We've already added 3,000 homes in MLS at that point on actives. And then the Wall Street Journal picks it up at the end of November. And the story says that the housing boom is coming to an end and it starts in Dallas. But
yeah, and you like a freaking rock star.
Yeah, I'm freaking out. I've now called the same seller 3 times and he keeps saying, thank you for telling me. I appreciate it. I'm making an educated decision to wait. Well, then take a look at this. So this keeps going and come into spring. Now we are 5,000 homes on the market ahead coming into spring.
Incredible.
Now I'm like really freaked out, right? So I call him one last time and I say, I promise you I will leave you alone, but I have you on my like 45 to 60 day tickler, just watching your inventory. You need to be on the market this spring. I know you're not moving till June. It could take us that long. You need to be on
incredible.
Spring. So we put him on. He's got a contract. We got him a contract in April and negotiated the lease back until July. So he didn't double move, which was the part where his wife was going to kill him if he moved twice. But the exact same floor plan sold 90 days later for $150,000 less.
Incredible. I mean, that just makes you such a rock star. So Ben Kinney Company's brokerages, I'm going to start, which means by me, I mean Hattie. We are going to start tracking this week. Okay. I'm so blown away by this. And we'll just make it a live Google document and we'll let all of you guys access it because you can't recreate this. And for all of you watching, having that pit in your stomach like I am, we just start today, folks. We just start today.
We started in 2015. I wish I had started in 2007, but I didn't. So we started today. So this is what I want you to see now coming into this market. So this is really cool. So now, in my opinion, what we track coming into this market is new on the market. I want to see how many new homes are hitting the market, and I want to see how many are going under contract, because that tells me what's my supply like replenishment doing.
Yeah.
If it's already active on the market, I can't control that, but I can.
I track new listings too.
Yeah, I want to see new listings. How many sellers are willing to test the market? That's what I'm looking at, right? And then the other part is how many buyers are actually willing to jump. So we at first started tracking it, right? We've been tracking it weekly. And so I can see new homes coming on the market. You can see right when shelter in place for Texas happened, which is the 15th. We start running behind. You can see that, right?
Yeah, there you
We're
go.
running behind last year. So we see that starting to dip. You can see this is my year over year. I'm just watching the stats. But you can see then where we hit the low point, April 5th.
You bottomed out already. Yeah, that's about where we did too, by the way. Yeah.
But check this out on contracts. This to me is so cool. And this helped us get a bunch of sellers on the market, which is really neat. So if you go back to new homes on the market, right, we're sitting anywhere from 1,700 to 2,600 homes, right, going on the market. But really, like in these weeks right here, it was like 1,700 to 2,000 homes going on the market each week. Well, look at how many were going under contract each week during that same time period.
Yeah.
Almost anywhere from 1,200 to 1,500 more buyers willing to write than sellers willing to sell.
Wow.
I mean, if that's not a call to action, right? I mean,
that's incredible.
And then the last thing I'll show you is, since then the market, right, we were like, well, it's going to last 7 days. And we were like, just kidding, it's not going to last 7 days. That was cute. We then started tracking the same stats on a daily basis. This is like our COVID sheet, right? Because I wanted to see where the bottom was. And so
we're a daily market now.
Yeah, I just needed a quick blush pulse because I needed to be able to tell sellers like 200 buyers wrote offers yesterday. right? Like
That's
I needed to be able to say what was going on in our market. So check this out though. I mean, you can see where we're bottoming. You can see on the weekends, we gave our admin staff the day off. I mean, what realtors really status MLS in the weekend anyways? Like, no.
Yeah.
So that's fine. But we're still pulling the weekly stats, right? That show it for the aggregate totals anyways. But you can see here, like, right?
I mean, I am like kicking myself that I didn't do this. This is so smart, Seychelle.
Well, you don't know until you know. And now you know.
So smart.
So, but I still think it's important to watch. And we can come back here, right? And you can see our low point was April 19th.
Okay, Marcia, we only have 1 minute. A couple of people have asked the panelists privately on the thing, you know, how can you have more pending than active or new listings? Well, she was showing us new listings to pendings. Here's what I know. They can gobble up existing inventory.
Right, they're coming after the active.
That's a super strong seller market that we just saw. Yeah.
Right, what you're seeing here is our total actives. So we're sitting at about 2.3 to 2.6 months supply inventory, even despite what's going on.
Yeah. Seychelle, we have to wrap up because it's 1:29. Would you be willing to share the format of this?
Yeah.
Okay, we can, you know, we'll figure out how to make that happen. For those of you who joined us, thank you so much. Seychelle, thank you so much. I'm sorry to cut you off, but it's 1:29. I just really want to, one more time, invite you to come on next Wednesday. We're going to give you a whole bunch of resources. Check your email, and please invite a friend. Please invite a friend. No one cares what brokerage we just want to help agents. We want to spread the word. And I really want to personally invite you guys this Friday to my interview with Bowen Kimberman Keedy, 11 to 12 o'clock. Give yourselves an inspirational treat and make yourself feel good. Make yourself feel good this Friday. It's a really cool story. So thank you guys. Thank you, Seychelle, and have a great week, everybody.
Y'all have a great one.